Sometimes don't you just wish there was a Super League? Okay, geez, Christ. I guess you guys just aren't ready for that yet. But your kids are going to love it. So it's Champions League time again. It has rolled around. We're in the knockout phases. It's actually the first Champions League video I've done of the season. Now we're in the crunch of the tournament, the knockout phases that drags on and on and on. But we do have some exciting games. We have 4 games to predict today, and they're kind of bookended, really. You've got 2 titanic tussles between giants and 2 which you would expect to be relatively straightforward wins. But we'll get into all of that in what is the very long-winded title of Champions League Last 16, First Leg, Part 1. And we start with Paris Saint Germain versus Real Madrid, one of those juggernaut ties that I talked about. This is a monster tie between 2 of the biggest clubs in Europe. It needs no introduction, really. It's almost a little bit of a shame that it's happening this early on in the tournament, but at least we do have 2 legs of it, and should be 2 excellent games. You would imagine they're both miles ahead in their leagues. PSG pretty much always win the French league. Real Madrid are having a really good La Liga season in what isn't exactly the strongest league behind them, but they're doing an excellent job. And it's very much a case of the old and the new, really, in this tie. For Real Madrid, you've got a case of Benzema, the old seasoned veteran, if you like, and you've got Vinicius Jr., who is this young up-and-comer, and between the 2 of them, they provide a lot of creativity and a lot of goals for this Real Madrid side. For PSG, obviously, the forward attacking power is absolutely frightening. You've got, Messi and Mbappe. Will Messi come back and haunt Real Madrid once again? And talk about haunting Real Madrid. Will we see Ramos come back and haunt Real Madrid, or will it more likely be that he gets a red card? It's probably equal 50-50 chance of both happening. But you've got, in tale of 2 managers, you've got the seasoned veteran in Ancelotti, and while he's not a new manager in Pochettino, he's still, in many people's eyes, is relatively unproven, just because he hasn't really won anything major. Winning the French league is that major, is kind of a gimme. I think I could probably win the French league with PSG. I don't really think they need much management in that side. When you look at Ancelotti, I just can't understand why you would leave Everton to go to Real Madrid. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And you have to factor in this one that you just never know what you're going to get from PSG in a Champions League tie. It is the sublime to the ridiculous. It can be amazing, ecstasy to disaster in a matter of seconds, and we've seen them implode, but we've seen them also have amazing nights in the Champions League. But I have a feeling this one, actually no, I think PSG will win this game. I think this one, PSG will turn it on, and I think it's going to be a tight one, but I do see PSG nicking it. I think it will be 2-1 going into the second leg. And remember, there's no away goals now in the tournament, and I'm really happy with that. I've been going on about that for years, about away goals not being in the Champions League anymore, or European football anymore. I think it's such an old-fashioned rule, and it's better off without it, but let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Next, we move on to Sporting Lisbon versus Manchester City, and this is one of those games that I talked about where you'd imagine it would be a pretty one-sided, comfortable affair for Man City. They won their group, so you face a second-place side, and Sporting Lisbon, yeah, they did really well to get through. They relegated Dortmund to the Europa League, and they finished behind Ajax, who were amazing in the group stage. But they are only second in the Portuguese league as well. And although I do think Sporting Lisbon will be a very, very technically good side, and they will cause Man City some problems, they'll be well organised, you just think Man City will control this game and find it nice and easy. There is always that thing of whether the Man City players can rise to the challenge of the Champions League. That is that constant Indian sign, if you like. Can't think of another word, over their head until they actually win it. Same with PSG, really. But I do think Manchester City, you have to think they'll be too strong in this one, and they'll just control the game like they always do. And I'm going for a comfortable 2-0 win for the citizens of Manchester. Red Bull Salzburg versus Bayern Munich is next. And if you thought Man City had an easy tie against Sporting Lisbon, well, you ain't seen nothing yet, folks. Bayern Munich up against Red Bull Salzburg. They have a mountain to climb, don't they? The Austrian champions. They are winning their Bundesliga, the Austrian Bundesliga, by a mile. But they did do really well to get through the Champions League. Getting through the Champions League is an achievement in itself to them. They do have some good players like Jonathan Serrano, Kevin Campbell. That's not Kevin Campbell, that's Kevin Campbell, for all you of a certain vintage. And remember that great striker. But he is a guy that's jumped over from the Bundesliga, German Bundesliga, to the Austrian Bundesliga. So it's a bit of a surprise to see him there. But they got the work cut out, haven't they, against Bayern Munich. When Bayern Munich lose a game in Germany, it's like the world stops still. They are winning that Bundesliga by a country mile yet again. They are almost go under the radar in the Champions League, and they are, without a doubt, one of the strongest sides in the world, not just in Europe. They've got just talent oozing off them in all positions, and you look no further than Lewandowski, who seems to be getting better year on year in terms of his goal scoring. They are a machine, and we've talked about Bayern Munich many times on this channel, that they are just ruthless when they get to this stage, and I expect this to be a crushing win for Bayern Munich. I don't think Salzburg have got much of a chance. I think it's going to be 3-0, maybe 4-0. What do we go for? I'm going to go 3-0 Bayern Munich, but it may be higher. And finally, for this round of fixtures, we have another box office tie of Inter Milan versus Liverpool. A huge juggernaut of a fixture, but if you're Inter Milan, you're kind of thinking, why didn't this come up last season? They'd have surely had a much stronger side to face this Liverpool team, but do not underestimate Inter Milan. They are top of the Serie A, and Serie A is really the most competitive league out of all the major European leagues. If you look at it, it's a very, very tight title race in there between 3 or 4 sides. It is going to be a difficult trip for Liverpool to go to the San Siro and get something. And they do have threats in the side. Lutero is a great striker. Dzeko, we know from he's had a long, great career in Italy, but also from his time at Man City, which seems like probably is a decade ago. Christ, that time flies. But we know that they do have weapons that can hurt this Liverpool side. But Liverpool are just so good, aren't they? You look at the talent that runs through it. We see it week on week in the Premier League, and now they've got Salah, and now they've got Mane back from the African Cup of Nations. It just makes this side, you would think, far too strong for Inter Milan, which is weird to say. I do think this first leg's going to be tight, and Liverpool do have that luxury of being able to just sit in games for the first leg when they're away, and they know they can take a tie back to Anfield, which really is arguably the biggest fortress in European football, in world football, especially on those European nights. It is a hell of an atmosphere. So Liverpool don't need to do anything too crazy. It's Inter Milan's game. They really need to go out and get a win here if they've got any chance to go to Anfield and get anything, especially as we say now, away goals aren't a factor. But the man of the moment for Liverpool is not Mane, is not Salah. It is Diego Jota, who is unreal. I think you run out of superlatives to describe what a great signing he has been for Liverpool. It is I just said it, unreal. You would never have thought that this guy who came in from Wolverhampton Wanderers, who was I'm going to describe him as a handy player for Wolves, would be this devastating striker that Liverpool were missing, this third prong to the attack that can score goals and be an absolute menace. And he has carried the weight of the goal scoring expectations of Liverpool while Salah and Mane have been away. And so it is a formidable lineup. I don't know. I still think after saying all of that, I still think this one's going to be a draw. I know I've just talked up Liverpool as this unbeatable machine, but I do think Inter Milan will get something here. I think it will be all square going to Anfield. I do expect Liverpool to win the second leg, but I'm going 1 apiece. 1 apiece for this game. And that will do it. That will do it for Champions League last 16, first leg, part 1. There'll be a lot of these, so get used to them. They'll be every week, around about on a Sunday, hopefully. And so it's great to have the Champions League back. Let me know your thoughts down below. Don't just give me predictions. Give me your thoughts on what you think about the away goal rule being abolished, who's going to win the tournament, what's your favourite Champions League moment, all that stuff. Predictions, I just find it, I don't know, ironic that I do them, but I find other people's predictions a trifle dull. So, Let me know down below. Hit like, hit subscribe, and all that jazz. I'll be back soon with more Premier League, more Oxford United from the home of the Champions League trophy. I bid you goodbye. Thanks for watching.